in this video. Jorge Lorenzo names his title favorites for 2022. Top of the list, Jorge Martin. Beirer responds to Ducati, says they are on thin ice with KTM. And I'm quite crazy myself, but not like Petrucci, says Andrea Dovizioso. My name is Sankalp, and this is your Racing News Fix. Jorge Lorenzo might have retired from MotoGP racing, but that doesn't mean he has disappeared from the scene. He regularly visits the races, stays involved in conversations with current riders, and shares his opinions quite often on social media. In an interview, Jorge spoke about Yamaha and Fabio Quartararo in 2021, about Ducati, and about his title favorites going into 2022. Starting with Fabio and Yamaha, Jorge said, Yamaha have struggled to consolidate at the top, but last year they found a rider who fits very well with the style that the M1 requires. A very fast and very explosive rider like Fabio. At last, both Yamaha and Quartararo have managed to win. After so long, they do deserve it. Yamaha and Quartararo deserve the title, but Ducati is still the fastest bike. Further moving on to Ducati, Jorge continued. It was already seen during the pre-season that the Ducati was the strongest bike and that it was ready to win the World Championship. They have built the best bike on the grid. And moving on to the predictions of 2022, Jorge said, I know that they have gone one step further and that's why I see the World Championship very red. They will have the best chance to win the title and to break the fast started after Casey Stoner's triumph. Digging deeper into Ducati contenders, Jorge said, in terms of explosiveness and pure speed, Martin has more than Bagnaia. The negative point is that sometimes he still makes some mistakes. He just lacks the experience to be competitive at every circuit. And finally picking his favorites for the 2022 title fight, Jorge concluded. 2019 was the best year for Marquez in terms of results, but Quartararo fought with him for victory in some races, although he did not know how to impose himself. Now with Fabio more mature and more complete, and Marc perhaps not as strong physically as before, we would have a lot of fun. I also add Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin to the equation. These are the 4 strongest riders going forward. Back in September, Ducati team manager Davide Tardozzi made a comment regarding KTM's unlawful supremacy in signing of young riders, because they signed the talents in the Red Bull Rookies Cup and the Moto3 World Championship and bind them for all future through gag contracts. Obviously, those comments left KTM Motorsports director Beirer very annoyed, but he didn't respond at the time. Beirer has now responded with some very strong words. Beirer started, first of all, we don't make gag contracts. Secondly, you can't hold a rider by force if they want to move to another team. That is why it is complete nonsense to say we are setting up some kind of gag contracts. Further addressing Tardozzi directly, Beirer said, I don't know what the gentleman of Ducati ate that morning when he claimed all this. If Mr. Tardozzi claims something about unfair competition, I can only cordially invite Ducati to participate in youth work. But I can't remember seeing a Moto3 bike at the Ducati factory. Youth work costs a relatively large amount of money, which runs into millions every year. If a manufacturer then fishes for our talents with little extra money, it is rather indecent. Ducati should rather think about how they participate in youth work. Ducati is now on thin ice with this criticism of KTM. Further pointing out how Ducati's new riders are coming from VR46 Academy, Beirer continued. When Ducati now regularly brings in riders from Valentino Rossi's VR46 Rider Academy, it is smart and clever. But they should just do it and not complain about our elaborate junior program. Further explaining the cost of running just one Moto2 team, Beirer continued. A Moto2 World Championship team costs around 3 million euros per year. If I calculate per rider, one rider's seat is worth 1.5 million euros. If a manufacturer like KTM does that, even though we don't sell our own bikes in this class anymore, we rent 2 GP places to train riders that we might fall back on in the MotoGP class. Taking the example of Jorge Martin, Beirer concluded. We employed Jorge Martin for 2 years in the Moto2 World Championship with the IO team. With us, he had a valid contract for 2021, but wanted to join Ducati. We then released him for 80,000 euros to ride with another manufacturer in MotoGP. In this context, I would like to ask Ducati to consider whether this was a decent or an indecent action. And speaking about his old teammate and compatriot Danilo Petrucci, Andrea Dovizioso said that he is happy for Danilo, but not quite crazy enough to do Dakar himself. When asked if he might get tempted to try Dakar himself, Dovi said, No, I am quite crazy, but not like him. I know Danilo and I know how strong and fast he is in motocross, also because he beats me easily. But he still surprised me because I didn't expect that result in Dakar. I was really happy for him and I texted him because he deserves it. If you made it till here, help me out. Subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. Here are 2 more videos which you might enjoy. My name is Sankalp and I'll be back with another video very soon.